The law of learned indifference. How to not have your dog ignore your every wish, want, and command. In this video, I'm going to reveal the truth behind why a dog can hear you say a command like sit, stay, or stop with 100% clarity, yet still think it'd be more fun to whip out his proverbial mute button and tune you the hell out. And how you can finally regain control of your dog's internal mute button so he'll actually start listening to you again. And no, the secret isn't about always having a juicier, tastier food bribe or carrying small change to throw at your dog. Yeah, I actually have seen that taught in DVDs, by the way, and while it is true that beating the living hell out of something is a fantastic way to get its attention, the real secret is something much, much simpler and a lot nicer. You see, it's all based off of a proven formula called learned indifference. You may have seen this formula at work before. It's that phenomenal ability discovered in some husbands that give them the superhuman talent to take in constant, repetitive yakking, yet retain absolutely nothing. Here's the complex formula behind how this law works. First, you do lots of tasks, chores, or favors. Then, you receive absolutely nothing for your troubles over and over again, which causes you to not give a crap. But since I'm sure no men watching this video have ever used this principle to tune anyone out, and I'm sure no women have ever witnessed this in their helpful, extremely attentive husbands, let me explain how this principle works by asking you a question. What would you do if when you went to work tomorrow, your boss guaranteed that you could have a raise if you started putting in extra hour of work a day? And let's say it was a big raise. How would your behavior change? I'm guessing you'd probably start putting in those extra hours right away, right? Especially if it was for enough money. So let's say you put in the extra effort, did a great job, and come payday, the numbers on your paycheck were not exactly bigger. What would you do? Well, let's say that you went to your boss and bitched, or at least asked why he would lie to you about giving you extra pay. He might apologize, say funding was just tight this last pay period, and he might promise the next paycheck will have the extra money. So you go back and you keep working hard for the next entire pay period. And when it came time to cash your check again, yet again you notice you still haven't gotten the raise, and your boss had yet some more excuses. Now, I don't know about you, but if I had a boss who treated me this way a few too many pay periods in a row, about the time he started giving me yet another excuse, I'm pretty sure I'd start to tune him out. It wouldn't really matter how much time he spent yelling at me for not working those extra hours. His credibility would be hosed, and I sure as hell wouldn't keep working for him if he's just going to keep lying to me. In fact, I may even start working less. Well, guess what? If you aren't stupid enough to listen to a boss who doesn't live up to his promises, maybe, just maybe, your dog's not stupid enough to keep doing something he's not getting paid for either. And when I mean pay, I don't just mean treats. It could be attention, fun, permission to explore something, smell something tasty, sniff another dog's butt, etc., etc. Here are some classic examples that I see broken all the time. The come here and all will be well, big lie. You see, I see this all the time with my mom's dog. Her little dog is not well enough behaved to not come over to my house and chew up my son's toys or screen door, as the evidence suggests here in this picture. And she isn't willing to train the training drills I teach her, so I'm forced to imprison her dog in the car when she comes down to see me. See, I'm kind of tired of the damage she keeps causing. So the poor dog has to stay in the car when my mom visits, building up all sorts of pent-up energy. Then, always before my mom leaves, like a decent person, she always lets the dog out to go potty before she drives home. And, surprise, surprise, the dog always takes off to go have some fun. Her dog used to come back when she first got the dog, but it doesn't do that anymore. Could you guess why? What kind of payout do you think the dog gets when it comes back for my mom right before she hops in the car to drive home for an hour? That's right. 1 hour of imprisonment in a car she's already been in for several hours. Would you think that was fair if you were my mom's dog? I don't think so. So it's no wonder why the dog always takes off and won't listen to my mom's 100 plus calls for her dog to finally come here. The dog has been trained to tune out my mom's cues. She's learned they are full of false promises and no pay. It's more fun to simply ignore her. So she does. So what should my mom do to fix this problem in her dog? Even though I know she'll never actually listen to my advice. She probably won't watch this video, so she'll never even learn about this, even though I've told her 100 times. Well, what most trainers would advise my mom to do, is spend 10 to 15 minutes playing the get in the car game before going home. This game teaches the dog that going in the car does not always mean you have to stay there. In fact, it almost never means you have to stay there, and it's super simple to teach. All you have to do is ask your dog to get in the car, then give him a big treat. It could be pets, food, whatever. Then the key is let him back out and play with him for a minute. And repeat. By making sure you only ask your dog to stay in the car about maybe 1 out of every 10 repetitions, dogs end up being more than willing to start coming to get in the car when told, because you don't always lock them in there when it happens. In fact, most of the time, it turns out really, really sweet. But to be honest, even though this game works wonders, I think it's a cop-out. And it's why I've released my off-limits training report, and why I've decided to do what professional trainers should have done a long time ago, and release my brand new training program called Training House Manners here in just a couple days. Because if my mom were really serious about helping her dog enjoy life to the fullest, she could actually follow through on some off-limits training like I talked about in the special report I released a couple days ago, and teach her dog that my son's toys, my couch pillows, my screen door, the root cause behind why I always kick the dog out of the house are off limits. If she would do that, I'd never ask her to stick her dog outside in the car, which means the dog wouldn't think the car was punishment anymore, because it'd be all worn out playing with my dog. The dog would have more fun. My mom wouldn't feel guilty about having to lock her dog up all the time, and I wouldn't have to feel like a jerk for kicking my mom's dog out of the house and in the car. Everybody would be happy. You see, the more I've thought about it, the more I've realized that the real focus of any dog training program should be learning better manners inside the home. Because a dog that doesn't have good manners, it gets kicked out. It gets locked up and essentially left ignored and understimulated for a huge portion of its life. And the more you have to resort to kicking your dog outside or locking him up, surprise, surprise, the worse and more intolerable his behavior will eventually become over time. That's why in a few days I'm releasing my Teaching House Manners course for dogs that will walk you through how to teach your dog manners, like how to stay off the furniture, stay out of the garbage, stop barking when the doorbell rings, stop trampling when you lay on the ground, like I have a brand new baby daughter who I like to play with and I don't want my dog coming over and trampling her. Stop destructive chewing. Stop whining or begging if it wants food or wants in or out of the indoors or outside. Stop scratching doors. Prevent spontaneous marking behaviors when other dogs come over their house. Stop crotch sniffing. That one's a fun one. Put an end to constant repetitive licking, and actually train your dog to never chase household cats or pets. Now, I don't want to get into all the details about what is in this program yet. There's going to be a lot more of that to come if you're interested, and you probably may, if you haven't already, signed up for my pre-notification list. I'll be sending you more information about what comes in this course. But if this Teaching House Manners stuff interests you and you want a more well-mannered dog, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to head on over to housemannersfordogs.com, because on February 22nd at 9 a.m., that's here in just a handful of days, I'm going to be releasing my House Manners for Dogs program to the public for the first time. And on that page is where we will be launching the product and making it live where you'll be able to get it. Again, I won't go into it here. I'll be sharing a lot more information about what's in that program with you via email here in a couple days, but go there right now and at least bookmark it with whatever bookmarking tool you use, and mark your calendar to come back at 9 a.m. because that's when it's going to be available, and there's only going to be a limited amount of copies available when it releases. So make sure you go there now. But until then, I want you to post your questions or comments about stuff we've talked about below this video, because I want to help you. I want to help you get started in seeing results with your dog today, if not yesterday, and I want to do whatever I can. So if you have questions, you want to know how this is possible to use in different situations, post your questions below. And if you've had success stories and you use this and you realize some mistakes you're making, share your feedback with me. I want to hear from you, and I want to help you get the best results possible. Hopefully you've loved this video, and again, go over to housemannersfordogs.com, and I look forward to seeing you there at 9 a.m. on February 22nd.